Hey guys, my name is Michael. I just wanted to let you guys know what's been going on in my life. I grew up in the church. My grandpa's a preacher, grew up down here in Texas in the Bible Belt, and always learned the stories since I was a little kid, went to Sunday school, but it never really clicked. I think I just did it because that's what everybody else in the family did, and so I just kind of went along with it. So I could tell you all the facts from the Bible from A to Z, but I don't think I ever really had a personal relationship with Christ. I continued to go to church, junior high, high school, got involved in the praise band for the first time in high school, and really was involved in a church that we were going to in Dallas. And then my dad got a job, had to move to DC, and that's really where stuff just started to spiral down. Moved to DC, really no Christians there at all. I mean, there's some, but it was just a completely different atmosphere from what I was used to here in Texas. And so went to the high school there, everything's real liberal, ended up doing a lot of music, hanging out with music people, and instead of taking that as a good thing, I ended up getting involved in drugs for the first time. Started using marijuana and ecstasy on a regular basis, junior year of high school, and just kept going, just spiraling down. I guess it was my way to cope with things, because I've learned now that I'm the kind of person that likes to live in the moment, get a pleasing thing. So instead of turning to God, I turned to drugs. Senior year, I joined the Marine Corps, what I thought was a great decision. Ended up going to boot camp in the summer of '06, graduated in October, was drug-free then, really relied on God for the first time in like 4 years when I was in boot camp. I really thought that things were starting to go good again. And went to basic training, went to cook school, ended up getting stationed in Japan. Once again, things just started to go downhill. It seemed to be like just a tape being rewound and played forward on repeat over and over and over again. Ended up getting involved with alcohol and drinking, prescription drugs, and it just seemed like the same thing happened again. The whole time I'm sitting there, I'm just blaming God, saying, why do you have me here away from my family? Why do you have these people treating me so bad? You can't do anything for me, so I'm going to go run to this alcohol because I know it will make me feel good. And so I did that for upwards of 3 years in Japan. And then in January of 2009, I got cancer. And once again, instead of turning to God, I ran from Him and I blamed Him. I ended up coming back to San Diego to do chemo treatment, and ended up hanging out with some guys that were doing chemo, and they were like, hey, let's go smoke weed, we can do it, we have cancer. So once again, I turned back to my old ways, started smoking, drinking again to try to cope with the fact that I had cancer and try to escape the pain, and did that from January all the way until October, just going to clubs, partying, just doing everything that I wasn't supposed to do. And then in October of this year, I came here to Texas. My grandparents called me and said they had a job available, so I came down. And in the past, I had had some problems with self-worth and like I talked about before, escaping through alcohol and drugs. And another way I had found to escape was just trying to end everything. And so in October, I tried to kill myself for the 4th time in the whole year of 2009. Ended up being really bad, and that's when Lucas came back into the picture. He showed up the 3rd day I was in the ICU. I was still hooked up to all the machines. My blood pressure was just barely enough to keep me going, and he sat there and just asked me the question, do you have a relationship with Jesus Christ? I said, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, yeah, of course I do. I've been a Christian since I was a little kid. And he asked me again, do you have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ? And that's when it hit me that this whole time I've been running and trying to find something to fill the void, when all I needed was Jesus the whole time, and just really needed to study his word and rely on him and trust in him. And that day he read me a verse out of 1 Corinthians. It's actually 1 Corinthians 10:13. It says, "No temptation is overtaking you that is not common to man. God is faithful, and he will not let you be tempted beyond your ability. But with the temptation, he will also provide the way of escape, that you may be able to endure it." And when he told me that, I was like, wow. So this whole time, God's been throwing all this stuff at me. Here I was blaming him for cancer and my addiction and self-worth problems. And he had the plan to get me out of it the whole time, which was his son, Jesus Christ. And here I am just making things worse when that's all I needed the whole time, you know. And so when he told me that verse, it just helped me realize I don't need drugs, you know. I'm not addicted to these things, you know. I might think I am, but if I can just turn my life around and rely on Jesus, that's all I need. And so since then, I've now been sober for the past 5 months. Things have been going great. I've decided and been praying. I've decided I want to be a music minister so that I can use my music abilities to serve Christ. And you know, I've gotten really involved with the church, made good Christian friends, good influences in my life. I've apologized to my family for the way that I had treated them, and then finally having a good relationship with my parents and my sister. And like I said, I just have good, true friends now. You know, Dusty and Lucas, Scotty, they've shown me what a real friend is, and not just somebody that I sit there and use with, somebody that actually cares how I'm doing and has helped me grow. Lucas has been discipling me for the past 4 months now, and I finally know how to truly read the Bible so I can get what God's trying to tell me. I'm even starting to read some theology, which I never thought I would do. Never thought I would do that. I've started doing that, and just God is just working through my life in such a good way. So much so that there's a guy at work, I've started to just try to talk to him about going to church and just what Jesus can do for him. I truly just keep praying about it and hope that I can do the same thing for him that Lucas did for me.